So you're recording right now. Hello?
Yeah, I hit the record button. It's going.
You're recording right now?
Yes.
Okay. You sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Alright. Good. Well, I mean, I don't want to get like halfway through this shit and like all of a sudden you're like, oh, fuck. I haven't been recording the entire time.
This is going to be the first blooper reel, isn't it? Because that is something I would totally fucking do.
Probably.
I've
And
had
with
whole
that,
lives.
welcome to the show, everybody. That's going to be the opening of the show, believe it or not.
Oh,
Is us
me.
having our little blooper chat. But yeah, we're going to be talking about... What are we going to be talking about? Stranger Things Season 2. We're going to be doing a review on the full season. We're going to be doing episode reviews for Star Trek Discovery and The Walking Dead, the ones that came on Sunday night. And the reason that we're going to be uploading this at the time that we upload it is so... The fuck is that noise?
My bowl.
Oh my god. Okay, so the reason that we're going to be uploading this at the time that we're uploading it is because it kind of gives everybody a little bit of time to watch the show and everything. What is it? Maybe 36 hours or so to watch these episodes, so you know you don't have to worry about spoilers or anything.
I think there's currently 7 episodes of Star Trek Discovery, 9 episodes of Stranger Things, and 2 episodes for the current season for Walking Dead.
Was it 9?
Yeah, 9.
I thought it was 8.
9.
Are you saying no in German, or are you saying 9?
No,
like the number?
I'm saying number 9. There's 9 episodes in the second season. I'm looking at the breakdown right now.
Okay.
I took notes. I was prepared for this.
Notes.
I was prepared for this.
Okay. All right. Well, if you took notes, then I guess go ahead and introduce yourself, Mr. Note Taker.
Okay, so I'm Jack. What's the first thing we're gonna be talking about? Stranger Things? Is that a good place to start off on?
I mean, the first thing that I'm going to be talking about personally is my introduction. My name is Tacky, and you can follow me at YT Tactical Bacon. Did you want to?
Oh, we're supposed to do that? Oh, yeah. Well, I'm Faded Calico Jack. You can follow me at Faded Calico Jack. The O is a 0 on Twitter. Faded Calico Jack on Facebook, and I think that's the only social media I really use. So
it's an introduction, man. Like, you know, there might be some people that know us, but there might be some people that don't know us.
It's my first video, and I'm fucking retarded. All right, cut me some slack.
Okay. So I was gonna leave that up to you as far as like what we wanted to talk about first. I think that so Stranger Things Season 2. That's kind of a lot to talk about, so I think we should just save that to the end of the episode.
Let's start with, you know what? There's only 2 episodes of Walking Dead. Let's start there.
Are you sure you want to start there?
There's only 2 episodes of it. Let's start there, and then we'll go to the second longest, and then the longest.
Okay, so earlier, you stated your dismay for this show.
Yeah, I'm kind of frustrated
to put it very
with this
bluntly.
Kind of frustrated with this show. Well, I was upset because I posted a thing. They posted something. The Walking Dead official posted something on Twitter, and was like, "What did everybody think?" They flat out asked, "What did everybody think of the episode?" And I just said, "Weak writing. The storyline seems to be dragging. The freaking the combat scenes to me, as somebody with combat experience, were completely fucking unrealistic." And I'm just like, I'm just not entertained as much as I was in the past by this show now. And when I posted that, like, I wasn't being malicious or mean to the people. It's just they asked what our opinions were. I just said it was weak writing, and I've been considering starting to watch something else on Sundays. And the people on there just fucking... I mean, the comments these people were making, like... Who the fuck are you people? Like, did your parents not teach you any fucking manners or anything?
Yeah, that's Twitter for you,
yeah,
dude.
I was just like, shit. So I eventually just deleted my post and fucking I unfollowed the fucking Walking Dead thing. I'm just like, I'm not even gonna bother anymore. But
earlier this year, okay, so this is completely unrelated to, completely unrelated to The Walking Dead. But earlier this year, on Mother's Day, I went to a baseball game with my mom, my stepdad, and my brother Chris. And I posted something on Twitter from an account that's separate from my Tactical Bacon account, like my own personal account. I posted something about spending Mother's Day at the baseball game with my mom. And then, like, some random, like, teenage girl is just like, I see you. I'm at the game, too. Come outside. And I'm just like,
what the
fuck?
fuck?
Yeah, and
Dude, I feel like, what the fuck?
Her and her brother, like, found out where we were sitting, because we were sitting in, like, the what do you call it? The press box or whatever, like the luxury box.
Yeah.
And they found out where we were, came over there, and, like, tried to take a selfie, like, acted like they were taking a selfie, you know, like, putting the phone out in front of them. But they were, like, zooming in on my face to take a picture of me. And
it's your fucking personal account, so I'm sure it's not like your Tactical Bacon account. I'm sure you don't have, like, a shitload of followers on there. Like, I don't even have a personal Twitter. I don't use Twitter for anything other than marketing my fucking streams and shit. That's it.
Yeah. But, I mean, that story just goes... And, you know, she posted the picture on the Twitter, and she was just like... Oh, look here, dummy. I fucking see ya. And I'm just like, bitch, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm just trying to fucking enjoy the goddamn baseball game, and you're fucking trying to stalk me. But, I mean, that just goes to show you that fucking people on Twitter are the strangest people in the world.
Yeah, they're definitely something else.
I mean, we could go off on a big rant about this, but let's try not to get too sidetracked. Let's go back to the Walking Dead stuff. Okay, so, sorry to get us sidetracked.
Now, are we doing spoilers in this or no?
Oh yeah, full on spoilers.
Okay, so the first episode of The Walking Dead is titled Mercy. It's directed by Greg Nicotero, written by Scott.
Oh, we're doing
Gimple.
both episodes.
Yeah, it's written by Scott M. Gimple. It aired on October 22nd. It was the first episode of the season. In this episode, Rick, Maggie, and Ezekiel rally their communities together to take down Negan and the Saviors. Gregory attempts to have the Hilltop residents side with Negan, but they all firmly stand behind Maggie. Using a large herd of walkers led by Carol, Daryl, Morgan, and Tara, the group attacks the sanctuary, taking down their fence and flooding the compound with walkers. With the sanctuary up in flames and the Saviors left to die, Rick, Maggie, and Ezekiel's groups leave. Gabriel reluctantly slaves Gregory, but is left behind after Gregory abandons him. Surrounded by walkers, Gabriel hides in a trailer where he is inside trapped with Negan. And that's how the first episode ends.
Mr. fucking note taker over here.
God damn right.
Okay, so let me let me just go ahead and start off with this for the first episode, and we'll try to make the first episode short because, you know, everybody wants to hear about the second one, the newer one. When the gunfire started happening, and Negan and all of his guys were standing out there on the catwalk, where did everybody run to?
Inside the building.
Cut to a few minutes later, where is Negan?
On the fucking ground.
He's on the fucking ground running around like he fucking dropped something off the catwalk, like, oh, what the fuck is going on? And then, like, Rick couldn't hit him for shit?
Yeah, I have a really hard time believing that Rick, being trained and somewhat proficient in firearms, had
Why
a
would you
difficulty
keep firing
Negan.
if you know that you don't have the shot? Like, that's just wasting ammo.
See, I thought that the first episode of the season started out strong. We've all been waiting for the build-up from the battle and everything. Mm-hmm. And we finally get to see the first glimpses of it, you know? We're like, oh, fuck yeah, here we go, here's the war. And then it just fucking cuts out. Now, I get that they have to drag it out throughout the season so that they have a full season. But to me, this is already a storyline that's been stretched out. Because I know Tacky reads the comics. I've only started kind of reading the comics. But I do know that the comics are further along in the storyline than where it is now. And I've also seen a lot of other people complaining that, like, it should be past this point in the story already. Like, the war with the Saviors should have happened last season, in my opinion.
Well, you know how they did the shit with the governor. they ramped it up, and then it was half a season, or half of the following season was like kind of a battle, or they like wrapped up the storyline rather with the governor. Why couldn't they just do that here?
Yeah,
it just doesn't make any sense.
I think they should be moving on with the story, and
yeah,
like
their pacing is just way off now.
Okay, so with that note, should we move on to episode 2?
All right, yeah,
because that's pretty much all that happened in the first episode.
Yeah, and hold on. One of the reasons that I wanted you to show the image of Rick, lying there asleep before we get into episode 2, or as we get into episode 2 rather, that is pretty much how I felt watching episode 2. Just old and tired and bored. The episode was so predictable, but go ahead with your notes.
Okay, so episode 2, titled The Damned. This one was directed by Rosemary Rodriguez. Matthew Negrete and Channing Powell wrote it. October 29th was the air date. In this episode, Rick's forces split into separate parties to attack several of the Savior's outposts, during which many members of the group are killed, including Andy and Francine. Eric is critically injured. While clearing out the outpost with Daryl, Rick is confronted and held at gunpoint by a Savior he met long ago in the initial Atlanta camp, Morales, who claims to have joined the Saviors. This episode, my biggest problem with this is whoever their tactical advisor was that was teaching them how to do shit fucking was not consistent at all. There was so much automatic gunfire there. First off, you're not going to hit shit with automatic gunfire unless you're doing CQB stuff. Secondly, in the last 2 episodes, they were talking about having to make their own ammo and looking into this because ammo shortages were becoming an issue. Where in the fuck are they getting all this goddamn ammo at? I said the ammo fairy must have fucking visited somebody throughout the night because, I mean, goddamn. Plus, I seen people just firing M4 style or AR-15 style guns like machine guns. Just da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, and then no reloading.
Let me ask you this real quick. Did you at any time see any of them have like a magazine or anything like that on
That's
them?
what I'm saying. None of them fucking did a mag change. None of them. I was like, what in the fuck? I think I've seen like 1 or 2 people do a mag change, but at that point, they must have had high cap mags or some shit because...
I mean, yeah.
Dude had already fired like 120 rounds at that point.
Let's just go ahead and pause real quick and preface with, we know that this is a television show about a zombie apocalypse. There's only so much realism that you can add to it. We get that.
My big thing is the ammo. If they made it a point to bring it up in the script as part of the story that, hey, we're running on ammo and we need to find a way to make ammo, then why are you having them go fucking ape shit with ammo all fucking time, especially if they're in a fucking war? Because I was in the military and believe me, they get pissed as fuck if you fire a gun like that and waste ammo. That shit doesn't come cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking, in a post-apocalyptic state, I mean, you'd want to make sure your shots were well aimed. Well, and there was times where people were doing that. But it's just, I don't know, like, it just seemed terribly unrealistic. And, I mean, granted, it's a fantasy show, so it's not realistic that zombies are going to fucking attack everything either. I get that. But, I mean, some of the show's been pretty accurate, and especially as the way, too, when, like, people are clearing rooms and stuff. Like, there was guys that had no clue what they were doing, obviously. But Rick, being law enforcement, there's scenes in prior seasons where it shows him training people, teaching them, and he's actually teaching them the proper way to do it. So whoever the technical advisor on the show was, they had somebody who knew what they were doing.
Right.
And it's just like, if this was all they were preparing for, and this is all they've been practicing for in like the off season and the in between things, don't you think they'd have those movements down a little bit better than they did?
Granted, you make it sound like it's the NFL.
I mean, granted, like, I've been on missions before too where people trip and fall, like dumb shit fucking happens. But
well, yeah,
it's just like when they were clearing that fucking satellite dish thing, and Morgan and those two other guys got shot. Like, where they were fucking standing, like, the entire time I was screaming at the TV, "You're in the fucking fatal funnel! Move!" And sure as shit, dudes come out and shot all fucking three of them. And then I'm just yelling at the TV, "That's what happens when you make bad tactical decisions, you dumb fucks!"
And I think that that's a good opportunity, or a good place, rather, for me to jump in here. That right there was a prime example of why I was bored with this episode. It was totally predictable. Okay, so Morgan says, "I don't die." And immediately I think to myself, okay, he's going to be put in a situation where his life is at risk, and somehow or another he's going to make it out without a scratch.
I think I've figured Morgan's character out, and I know who he really is.
Really? Because he's going back and forth so often.
I'm pretty sure he's the fucking Highlander.
The Highlander?
Yeah, he got fucking shot, and then he stood up and just walked away like it was nothing.
Did he?
And was just walking out of that bitch, and fucking...
Did he
capping
get shot,
motherfuckers?
I didn't see a gunshot wound.
I think he did,
but
I think he was wearing that fucking armor. I think they're gonna do some shit where the bullet's stuck in the armor or some
that
shit.
Armor?
Yeah. The hockey pads. The fucking hockey pads he was wearing.
That is not armor. That's shit that fucking dirt bikers wear.
Yeah, but you know what? They have mags that fire 500 fucking rounds, so... Who's to say that the hockey body armor can't
fucking
stop bullets?
Morgan went through that satellite dish place and killed like 80 people with 2 magazines for his pistol. I only saw like him 80, reload once, but he was like killing a ton of people. But anyways, that was obvious when... I think his name is Aaron, the guy that found Rick and everybody and brought him to Alexandria.
Mm-hmm.
When his boyfriend started to like get all like courageous and shit, going around and like trying to bust the cap and the saviors or whatever, fucking, I'm just thinking to myself like, okay, he's gonna die. Like, this is so obvious. He's gonna die because he's just been this character that's just been like very meek and kind of passive.
In all of this stuff that they've researched and learned how to do and make primitive stuff, they haven't learned how to make like primitive grenades. Because I'm telling you right now, that battle with the saviors at that fucking one place would have been over pretty goddamn quick had they had some grenades.
That was another thought that popped into my head too. What was just like, toss a fucking grenade!
This seems like a lot of unnecessary gunfire to me.
One of you has to have a fucking frag grenade, god damn it.
Just something even homemade. Like, I could have, hey, that one dude fucking taught me how to make a fucking homemade explosive, and we just put nails and shit in it. Because, I mean, the Taliban, they fucking make bombs out of fucking... or explosives out of fucking tennis shoe, a jar of piss, and a Pepsi can. I mean... it's possible, so... But, I understand they're doing it for dramatic effect and stuff, but, I mean, it just got to the point where, like you said, it was very predictable. Like, I knew the second I seen them standing there, I'm like, oh, well, they're all gonna get shot, and sure as shit,
the other, real quick, the other really predictable moment for me was at the end, when Rick walked into the room... and found the baby in the crib, and then he starts looking in the mirror and starts like looking at himself. I'm just like, okay, you're fucking up here because you're letting your guard down and you're like in the middle of the shit. Like, now, you cannot be letting your guard down right now, dude. Like, I'm sorry you're fucking traumatized. Huh?
What outpost were Rick and them at? That's what I didn't get. Like, I was so confused. I knew they were all at different outposts. I was under the impression
that they were all at the satellite place, but just going in from different angles.
Don't see, it made it to me seem like Rick and fucking...
Oh yeah, Rick and Daryl
were in, a different area, but I didn't know, like, were they in the area where Negan was at, or were they in a different outpost? Now, reading back over my notes, I realized they were at a different outpost, so, because they had left that area.
Right, because they had a map that Dwight drew out for them.
Yeah.
In a very childlike manner. Yeah. It looks like there's just like 160 paces left.
Yeah, but I don't know, like, it was so predictable. And then when they freaking, like, King Ezekiel and Carol and them were approaching the satellite compound, and he was like, wait, hold your fire. And then he's like, our friends have arrived. Like, before he even said that, I'm like, oh, there comes the tiger. You know? And I'm like, I knew that like, that was what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's just like, all right, like, I'm a freaking dumbass. Like, if I can figure this out.
Yeah. Okay, so real quick, before we move on to Discovery, because I want to kind of get through this and get on to Stranger Things, but we got to get to Discovery first. But really quickly, when you saw the guy from the original group that Rick was with, did you recognize him right away?
I did not, no.
Because
when he said his name
for me,
and said Atlanta, I thought it was Rick knew his name because remember when they were outside talking to Negan and he was like, you're so-and-so, you're so-and-so. They had intel on everybody. That's what I thought Rick was trying to do. I thought Rick was trying to freak him out by like, hey, I know who you are, you know, or humanize him. And apparently it was, because Rick fucking knew him from the previous thing. I didn't know that later until I read some shit online and saw it.
Yeah. Well, okay, so for me, when that happened, I was just kind of like, oh, yeah, that guy. Like 2 minutes afterwards, you know?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
And I was just thinking to myself,
still not
like,
sure who he is.
yeah, but I was just thinking to myself, like, if that had been, like, yeah, like a lot of the bigger characters that had more of a role in the first couple seasons are pretty much dead now, like, it would have been so much cooler if you would have had somebody that you could have instantly recognized instead of just being like, that guy looks familiar.
Yeah.
And then when Rick says Atlanta, it's like, oh yeah, he was in the first season.
fucking Punisher comes out of nowhere. Remember me, motherfucker.
Well, see, that's exactly what I was talking about, is like most of the bigger stars or like the people that had like the bigger storylines
they're all
are
off the show
dead.
now. Mm-hmm.
You know? So, I don't know, but I mean, we'll keep watching it.
Yeah,
I guess.
I'm like I said, I'm disappointed in it, but I'm gonna keep watching it to see what happens. They haven't sworn me off as a viewer yet, you know. I kind of want to see where they take it, you know. But to be fair, I think they've been predictable since the Glenn incident, because when they had that big break and everyone was like, who died? Who died? I knew it was two people, and I guessed the two people it was right off the bat. And it was because their storylines had nowhere to go. Glenn's character was already dead in the comic books, and Abraham, his storyline just doesn't have anywhere meaningful to go at this point. So it made sense that he was the only other character that they were going to get rid of. Plus, Michael Cudlitz, the actor who plays him, had signed on, I read something online, that he just signed a deal to do another film and another show someplace else. So I'm like, okay, that corresponds with his character leaving, you know, because he's probably going to have to leave at the end of this year to start filming with those other shows.
People are probably going to hate me when I say this, but I think that they missed a golden opportunity when one of the two people that Negan killed was not Maggie. Like yeah, it would have fucking pissed people off, but nobody would have seen that coming.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, at this point, I think people have built such a good...
Not that I want to see a woman getting her brains bashed in with a fucking baseball bat. I mean, I'm not a fucking psycho or anything, but just think of the effect that would have had.
I think at this point,
for Glenn,
viewers
if he would have survived.
Yeah, I think at this point, viewers have established such a rapport and relationship with the characters that at this point, like, any of the characters dying is gonna piss somebody off. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of don't want to see Negan die. Just because I like Jeffrey Dean Morgan and I think he plays that character so fucking well.
Well, if they follow...
He's such a fucking badass.
If they end up following along with the comics, then you might be happy. That's all I'm going to say, is you might be happy. But let's go ahead and move on to Star Trek Discovery. Tired of talking about The Walking Dead.
All right. Yeah.
Do you have notes for this one, too?
I do.
Oh my god. All right, Mr. Note Taker.
Where are we going to fucking start off with
We're going to have to do something special in the future for these little, like, notes segments.
Well, it just gives a brief synopsis. I didn't take. Oh, excuse me. I didn't take as detailed of notes for this show, but
Okay.
I really enjoy this show a lot. So,
All right, let's get into it.
episode 1 is called "The Vulcan Hello." This is directed by David Semel. The story was written by Brian Fuller and Alex Kurtzman. The teleplay was Akiva Goldsman and Brian Fuller. I freaking really liked this. The introduction of the characters. Basically, they introduced what was it? The USS Shenzhou. Yeah, Shenzhou.
I think so.
And Sonequa Martin Green, who plays Michael Burnham, who's a female character with a male name. Who, if any of you've watched the show, know that she shares a famous father because her father that adopted her is Spock's father. So her and Spock both, she was like a human that was raised in Vulcan society as an experiment by Spock's father because he was a scientist. And part of that other experiment was Spock's father married a human mother, and then they had Spock. So there basically what happens is Michael Burnham freaking becomes a mutineer and ends up on the Space Shuttle Discovery. There's a lot in between there that I'm sure we'll talk about, but this show basically takes place 10 years prior to Star Trek, the original television show. So it's in that same timeline. And it's basically focusing on the Federation of the war between the Federation of Planets and the Klingon Empire. And I think it's a really, I've seen a lot of Star Trek, so I know that it's been referenced a lot, but never really shown. So I think it's kind of cool that they're showing it now. Although seeing the special effects and the budget that they dumped into this show, I'm like, fuck, I wish all the other Star Trek shows had this much of a budget.
Yeah.
And these special effects, but
let's talk about what you thought about the episode that aired just last night.
Last night.
Sunday.
Okay, so I really love that we get to see Mudd again.
Yeah.
So
I knew that he was going to be popping up again.
Those of you
soon.
who don't know, Mudd is a character that came back a few episodes ago. He was in Klingon prison with the officer and two of the officers from Starfleet, and
the captain and the security guy.
Yeah, he's played by Rainn Wilson, who you guys should know from The Office. He played Dwight Schrute on The Office. The guy's fucking hilarious. I noticed there's elements of Dwight Schrute in Mudd.
Oh, yeah.
Like the arrogance and stuff. Like, I fucking love it because it just reminds me. So it's like Dwight in space.
And Mudd also appears, obviously, as an older gentleman in the original series with William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah.
I think he might be in 2 episodes. I'm not exactly sure how many episodes he was in, but I know that he was in the original series. That's like where his first appearance was.
Yeah, and I thought the episode was great. I like that they the stuck in a time loop. It seems like it's a classic Star Wars type, or not Star Wars, Star Trek theme that happens in the episodes that you see in pretty much, the Next Generation, Voyager, all those have at least one episode where they get stuck in a time loop. And so to me, it was nostalgic of that. And I thought it was really neat to see that. There was a huge build-up through the episode, though. There was like a lot of tension through the whole episode. And you're like, oh, God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Yeah. And then I felt the episode was like a huge letdown. But don't get me wrong. It was a good ending because everybody won in the end. And everybody kind of ended up happy. But
as far as the ending is concerned,
like, I thought it was going to be way more badass of an ending than
it was. It seemed like a typical Star Trek ending.
Yeah.
So for people who are just like, oh, the show isn't Star Trek, it's something else. Like, yeah, I can see your argument in some forms, but I mean, you got to cut them some slack because they can't keep repeating the same kind of formula and expecting it to work every single time. Like the ratings and all that shit has shown. I mean, Enterprise. Ugh.
Oh, it did horrible. I thought it was a pretty decent show, but to be fair, I never saw it when it was on the air on TV. I watched it on Netflix probably 10 years after it fucking aired.
I mean, if it's not Quantum Leap, it's Scott Bakula is, you know,
Quantum
he's not
Leap.
doing too much.
But yeah, but like I like this, and this has spurred in me to not only start watching the original Star Trek with Shatner, but watching all the old shows, Next Generation, freaking Voyager, Deep Space Nine, because I've never watched all those. I've always been on the Star Wars bandwagon. It wasn't until I was older that I started to respect Star Trek a lot more, and started getting into that a lot more.
Yeah,
and maybe it was just because, like, I don't know, Star Trek seems a little bit more intellectual, and I was a dumb kid, so I just liked the sword fighting and fucking, like, straight out action of Star Wars. But I don't know, but like I'm really enjoying it now, like so much so that I've actually kind of started playing Star Trek Online again.
The original series with Shatner is really good. Next Generation is really good. I've heard good things about Deep Space Nine. Apparently Ronald D. Moore worked on some of it. I'm not exactly sure how much of it, but Ronald D. Moore is the guy behind the rebooted Battlestar Galactica. That was really good.
And that was fuck! I love Battlestar Galactica.
Oh yeah, that show was awesome.
There was a picture on Twitter that Katie Sackhoff, the chick who played Starbuck, posted like a couple months ago, and it was her and the actor that originally played Starbuck on the original television show in the 70s at Starbucks. And it's like Starbuck and Starbuck drinking Starbucks at Starbucks. Shit was so fucking funny.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that actor passed away this year. The guy that originally played Starbuck.
That may have been when I saw it, because she may have been posting something about like a rip message or something.
Right. Huh. All right. But yeah, I really like the stuff with Mud in this episode. I thought that the time loop thing was very interesting, and I was kind of worried that it would repeat too much, but it repeated like just enough. You know,
just when it started getting annoying is when they came out of it.
No. Like for me at least, it wasn't even starting to get annoying.
Yeah,
but like
that was
one or two more times, then it would have been like, I don't know, you're starting to push it.
Yeah, that was a poor choice of words. It wasn't annoying, but it was getting repetitive. But
for sure, you really have to be careful with those kind of.
I really liked
episodes.
The character progression for Burnham. And the new fucking Nash or whatever his name is, the new security officer. I still think there's something with him. I think there's more to it than
well, I still think that there's still something fishy about Lorca.
Oh yeah, he's definitely fucked up. Like, he's foobarred. Like, there's something going on mentally with that dude. He's just not all there.
Well, I think there might be something else that he is not telling people about the ship and his real mission.
Oh yeah, that would.
I think there may be some ulterior motives somewhere, but I don't know. That's just my opinion. You've never really had like a main character of a Star Trek show not be the captain of a ship, right?
Yeah. See, that's what I was interested about, and the character progression I thought was going to be like weird. Like, I didn't think it didn't feel comfortable like Star Trek, but it really has. I mean, they really have written it very well. And it's interesting, and it's not just her storyline. I mean, all the characters that they've introduced storylines are interesting. Like, every episode I see has me wanting to learn more about that character.
And I think that the redhead knows, or she definitely knows something that she's not telling Michael.
Oh, I definitely agree.
And I don't know if the security guard is aware of it or if they're keeping him in the dark too, but I think that there's something that redhead is hiding for Lorca. But that's just my theory right now. There's nothing to really back that up. It's just a theory. But yeah, I really like Discovery. I think that it was a much needed change that CBS had to do in order to not only get people to subscribe to their CBS All Access app thing, which is like, I forget how much it is. We'll just say $9.99 roundabout number. But also to get new fans interested in this new Star Trek show, which I hope it's doing. It might be.
That's like it got me into like even watching the older Star Trek stuff.
Yeah, so hopefully it has that same effect with a lot of other people. But want to go ahead and move on to the big subject? Even though we're almost 40 minutes in, we can move on to Stranger Things.
Yeah, Stranger Things. Oh, what did you think about this?
I bet you got notes for this.
Dude, I binge watched the fuck out of this show twice.
Twice already?
Twice.
What?
It's so fucking good. I'm sorry. It's so
I mean,
good.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm so
completely
happy
and
to
totally
see-
agree with you. I know that I'm going to binge it again very soon, but twice already? It's only been out a few days.
I'm so happy to see Winona Ryder in a video that doesn't involve her being chased by the police for shoplifting afterwards.
That's very true.
But no, she is...
Get better, Winona. I love you.
Amazing in this fucking show. Like, everybody is. And it just, like... It's one of those shows that right after I watched the 9th episode, I was like, fuck! I don't want to wait till the next season! I want to know what happens. Because
I had pretty much the same reaction. When I got to the last, like, 10 minutes of the last episode, I went to see how much longer I had in the episode, and I was like, oh, okay, well, 10 minutes. And then I looked, and there was no next button. I was like, no!
I've reached the end of the journey. But I love this show because I can't figure out what the fuck is going on. Like, I mean, I got a general idea of what's going on, but I can't figure it out. And I love it.
So what I'm thinking, since it was kind of mentioned and towards the end of this season, was that something happened with 11. She opened the gate to the Upside Down, which is obviously just some weird parallel dimension. And then in season 2, she closed the gate, so those fucking creatures couldn't pass over. But maybe that wasn't the only gate that had to be closed?
So are we going episode by episode for this one? Because I've got episode by episode notes.
You have episode by episode notes?
Yes, I do. I think this is probably going to be a podcast in itself.
Out of 9, pick 3 of your favorite episodes and we'll talk about them.
Oh, man. That is so fucking hard to do.
But please pick the episode where 11 busts in to, oh God, Joyce's house. And everybody just turns around. And they're like, oh my God, 11, you're alive.
Yeah, that definitely fucking was one of them.
Yeah.
Where she finally makes her appearance to the rest of the cast.
Because when she threw that fucking demo dog through the fucking window, or when the demo dog came flying through the window, I was just like, yep, 11's about to fucking make her entrance.
Yeah.
And that's the most badass fucking way you could do it.
Dude, I think her storyline was fucking badass this season, man. Like, she fucking... When she gets in that fucking argument with the sheriff, like, what the fuck you gonna do to a fucking cranky-ass teenager just got superpowers?
Yeah.
Like, she just threw a fucking couch at you, bro. With her mind. With her fucking mind.
She just threw a fucking couch at you, bro.
People are posting that shit. What's 11 gonna do? Whatever the fuck she wants. That's what she's gonna do, alright?
She's gonna do it while eating a fucking box of Eggos.
Yeah, no shit. But I was actually legit sad to see fucking Bob get killed too. Like, even though like Bob's character was so nice, he pissed me off.
Yeah, let's talk about Bob.
His character was so nice, he pissed me off. Like, Sean Astin played that character so well.
Yeah.
And then
he
like
really
when he died, I was like, no.
Mm-hmm. See, my first impression of him was, oh, it's this really nice guy. And then I'm like, oh, it's a really nice guy dating Joyce. And he might be working for those people as like a mole, trying to spy on what Will's going through.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, I'm starting to figure this out now. I think he's a little shady. And then when he turned out to be a decent guy, I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, see, that's what it was, too. I was like, oh, I was wrong. He wasn't a douchebag.
There was this thought in my head, though, where he was running down the hallway, and I was just like, run, Rudy!
Yeah! Score that touchdown!
And then when the fucking demo dog fucking jumped at him, I was like, Sam!
But I like that they're humanizing Eleven a little bit more, like making her come into like that pubescent stage where she sees the redheaded girl, the new girl, talking to Will, and it makes her fall off the fucking skateboard and shit. Like, it just made me like realize, like, man, if this was real, could you imagine how fucking dangerous a teenage fucking girl would be that had superpowers?
Oh yeah,
fucking emotionally unstable as fuck, just being like, fuck everybody today. But I really like the Ghostbusters thing. The one thing I don't understand, the one character they introduced, the dickhead brother of the new girl. Like, I don't know
You mean the Red Power Ranger?
Yeah, I don't know what like purpose his character serves yet, but I have a feeling he's gonna be a pivotal at some point.
He was the bully. I mean, every 80s movie that took place in some kind of school always had some douchebag 80s villain. Dude, pretty much.
Fucking mullet on that kid. What the fuck?
That was an amazing mullet. Don't
Dude,
you
and it's
dare
just like,
disrespect it.
No, I'm just like, I'm not even mad. I'm just like, oh, fuck, man. Like, I remember when people fucking wore shit like that. Like,
Listen to me. If you want to disrespect anything about that man, disrespect the fucking outfit that he had when he was playing basketball. Tube socks, sneakers, and those really short shorts, and this fucking prick gold chain I think he had on. I was just like, Jesus Christ, this guy. But then, you know, later on they tried to make you feel sorry for him because his dad is like really verbally abusive towards him. So they tried to make you feel sorry for him. I thought that he was gonna have like that same kind of moment that what's his name, Steve had in season 1, where he was kind of being a dick, and then he realized what was going on, and then he was like, oh fuck, well let me pick up this bat with a bunch of nails in it and fucking join you guys.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I didn't even feel bad for him when his dad was doing that. I guess you get for being a fucking douche.
Well, you know, that's...
But, I mean, I get it.
It's like being a product of your environment, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I get there with
it's that kind of thing.
But I have a feeling that there's more to his character than what was shown. You know?
I would hope so. I mean, you know, that guy's a pretty good actor. I mean... He played a convincing douchebag, but he's a really good actor, and if they were to just kind of throw his character away like that, I mean, that would kind of suck. I mean, they are doing a season 3. They've already announced that they've got plans for season 3, and they're moving forward with it, so maybe we'll see more of the Red Power Ranger in season 3. I just thought it was funny because I was like, man, I just saw this guy earlier this year in the Power Rangers movie.
Yeah. And freaking, oh shit, that is
his
him,
little sister was pretty cool though.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I think she was a new addition to the group.
She was a good addition.
Yeah, and I think it was a good addition. I think her character really added and is now bringing out like more of the confidence in the group of boys, kind of. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with the exception of Will and frickin' uh, his buddy,
Mike.
yeah, Mike.
Yeah.
But that because they're going through shit that's not related to stuff like they're going through other shit that none of the other ones are gonna understand unless they go through it.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it makes sense, and I like how they were doing that. The flashbacks with Will, where he like goes in between to the upside down and then to real world is fucking pretty interesting. I liked that spin. I like that Hopper's trying to like,
Really,
be a
real
father
quick,
to her.
really good effects with the shadow monster
Oh
when it
yeah.
had like attacked Will. Those were some really good effects.
Oh yeah. I was really impressed by that.
Yeah, but what were you saying about Hopper?
The way his character is progressing, I like it. How he's becoming into like the unknowing father figure.
Yeah.
Now, were Joyce and Hop in a relationship prior?
It really they really made it seem like they were.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that Will
Like
might
before
be his
she got
son.
No. This was probably while they were both in high school.
Okay.
Yeah,
'cause that's
this
what I
was
started wondering.
definitely
I was
before
like,
she met her husband and
I
then
was
got
like,
married
what
and then
happens
had
if
Will.
Hopper is Will's dad? And
No.
but he may not know that, because she may not have ever told him, or whatever. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's so many things they could do with the storyline. That's all just
Yeah.
theory.
I
But
don't know.
like I said, I really like the character progression. I really cannot wait for next season to see what's going to happen now. I mean, this one I thought more was going to happen than what did, but I was pleased with what I saw.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a complete season. Questions were asked, they were answered, and
then some of them weren't answered.
yeah, some weren't answered. But
Like, what the fuck was that thing at the end?
like the government now studying the upside down and do it I just how do they fucking contain that? I mean, I get that at the end of the episode they made it seem like there was a chemical spill at the lab and that's how Barb's family got taken care of.
Yeah.
For Barb, and they got
Okay, hit record.
good.
Good?
Mhm.
Sure?
I'm sure.
All right.
But I thought the how they introduced the little monster thing that Dustin found was fucking cool, and Dustin was cracking me up. What were some of the notes I fucking took into him? Yeah, first off, episode 6, she has a sister. That's fucking crazy. I wonder if in the new season if they're gonna introduce more of the line. How many of them are there? If Ella's 11 and the other one was 8, are there more than 11? Are there some that are more developed with their powers? Because her sister seemed to be
I
in
think that
control
the
of her powers
crazy
pretty
thing
fucking well.
is... I think that the crazy thing is that we know that there's at least 11 of them.
Yeah.
And we've only seen 2.
Yeah.
So where's the others?
Freaking the season finale, Gaten's haircut. That shit was straight out of the fucking 80s. I bet that kid had a ball when he got to come out of that freaking
Oh yeah, his
fucking hair at the ball.
His hairstyling.
The best
courtesy of Steve.
Scene I saw out of that kid was there was one where he was in a library getting books about a thing.
Oh yeah.
And he goes to run out of the freaking library and he's like, "Don't take my paddles!" I don't remember what the exact line was, but that shit was so funny. I remember just dying laughing when I first heard him say it. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
he got some
that was
good
pretty
one-liners
good.
in.
Oh yeah. I think that I wish that they would have done a little bit more with Lucas. That was really the only one that I felt didn't really have. I mean, yeah, he had the shit going on with Max, but they really didn't.
There was a
Well, I
scene
don't
with
know. I mean,
him.
they kind of covered it, but it just didn't seem like it was all that
There was a scene with him that
important.
cracked me the fuck up too, when they were all talking about the Ghostbusters, and he was like, "I was going as Venkman. No, I went as Venkman. No, you're supposed to go as Winston. Why? Because I'm black." That shit fucking cracked me up.
Yeah. Oh, I think we're gonna have a special guest joining us.
Oh, really? What's up, Mr. Heisefa? Oh, look, the dogs want to join us too. Go down.
Oh, the dogs want to join. What's up, Highs?
What's
Howdy.
up? I'm
We're good,
talking about
man. We're
Stranger
just
Things.
yeah. You want to join the Stranger Things conversation? That's enough. That's enough. All right, so we were just going over like the pretty much just the whole series, or not the whole series, but the whole season rather.
Yeah.
What all did you like about it? Because I don't think you told me anything about it earlier, did you? I mean, you said that you liked it, but you didn't really go into any specifics.
Worse than the
Well,
first
you know
season.
what's funny
Hmm.
is that we're both recording in Audacity, but he's not.
I'm recording him in TeamSpeak. I can hear.
Oh, you
I'm getting it.
can?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay, perfect. I'm sorry, Highs. Continue.
I got it
We should-
covered, bro.
We should get you on podcasts more often because you're a lot more courteous on a podcast than you are normally.
Who, me?
Well, yeah.
No,
Oh,
Tacky.
Probably
I
both
do
of
on a
us.
podcast.
Probably both of us. I'm super baked right now, dude.
Highs comes in. He's like, I just
I've
want
been
to say
having a
hi,
good
guys,
time.
and let you know Tacky's normally a dick.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Blooper reel number 2.
I mean, I'm not gonna deny it. But yeah, what kind of stuff like really stood out to you, Highs, about season 2 of Stranger Things? All right.
I wasn't prepared for that question, so I'll have to think about it.
Well, I mean, you got to be ready to go, man.
Thank God this isn't live.
Well, we know who not to have back on in the next one.
No, in all seriousness, now come
Okay.
on, stop messing.
All right. All right.
All right, here we go.
All right. Here we go. Take two.
I need at least 4.
Fucking highs.
Oh shit.
All right, seriously, man, come on.
I like the way she went on Matrix in the middle.
Yeah,
I like that.
he does that from time to time.
I kind of like the having grown up in the 80s. I kind of like the 80s vibe of the whole show.
Mm-hmm.
I think,
Yeah.
And for people
this
who don't
season-
know, Highs was born in 1815.
He was born in 1880.
Yeah, so he
I'm
actually
actually-
lived through the 1880s and the 1980s.
I'm actually a founding father. You'll see my signature down there.
It just says Heisefer.
Yep.
No, seriously, because I think this season they played more on the 80s than they did on the last season.
I think they did
Yeah.
too. I was so happy to see Ghostbusters.
Because you noticed when, for instance, when Dustin was at the library, we were just talking about that. When he went to take the books, he did this kind of like weird expression, and then he pointed like over the lady's shoulders and said, "What was that?" That's like straight out of Back to the Future.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
I
Yeah.
can't believe she looked too, and then he took
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
that little fuck.
I mean that old fucking librarian probably has never seen Back to the Future at that
No.
point, you know?
Back to the Future didn't come out in the 80s. That came out in like the 90s.
No, it
Oh
came
my
out in the
It was
God.
80s.
like came out in like the
85.
88. No, it wasn't like
85.
1988 was the first one.
That's like
Guys,
thinking that there's only
85.
one
I think
Death
so.
Star. There's four. There's four Death Stars at least.
That's an
It's,
in-joke. No, sure,
yeah.
Back to the Future was 85. 85 to 55, and then
Yeah,
85
July
to
3rd,
2015.
1985 is when the first one came
Yeah.
out.
So
Oh
that's
wait,
why
well this
85.
was Stranger Things was in '84 though.
Yeah, 84, yeah.
Yeah, and then
So
Back to the Future 2 came out in 89.
so would that mean that Marty McFly stole that from Dustin?
Maybe.
No, you see,
Huh.
you're caught in a temporal loop like the
Okay.
Discovery crew.
Yeah. You really should have been here earlier. We
Yeah, we
fucking
talked
talked
about
about
that, too.
Discovery after Walking Dead, and now we're doing Stranger Things.
Yeah, Back to the Future 3 came out in 90.
Anyway,
Sorry, one of them came out in the
getting back
90s.
to Stranger Things. Getting back to Stranger Things reminds me how much I'm looking forward to Ready Player One.
Oh yeah. Is Spielberg is he directing that or producing it?
I'm pretty sure he's directing it.
Okay. Yeah, that looks really, really interesting. Did you have any like favorite moments from season 2 of Stranger Things though?
A couple of things that I liked. I liked the new girl, Max,
Max, yeah, she's pretty
and
badass.
I thought the whole Mad Max Dig Dug thing was pretty neat because I like the whole arcade reference, so that was
I
good.
love Dig Dug. I loved it.
And I think this
I
season
dug
Dustin
it.
is my favorite character
Yeah.
because I think last season Elle took over the limelight.
Mm-hmm.
Elle and
Yeah.
Mike really kind of that relationship kind of took over, but that was kind of missing this season, obviously, because she was in hiding.
Yeah.
So I think Dustin, with the whole Dustin and the life form thing, what I can't remember what his name is.
Dart?
Dart, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was Dustin and Max, and basically Dustin and his mother, Dustin and the librarian, Dustin and Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
I think there was more focus on the group of friends and other odd characters this season than the main characters
he
that were
was- he-
focused on last season.
I think it was more centered around him, even though he wasn't really pivotal to the main story arc. But all the
Yeah.
secondary arcs were him.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So Elle, like, I don't like her with hair. I'm going to say that now.
What difference does the hair make?
I don't know. I think when she arrived on the scene in the first season, there was this mystery to her, right? Because we were learning about her as the season went on. Her powers. She had a shaven head. She looked different. She spoke different. You know, she had been institutionalized for what age she was, 11 or 12 or whatever it was. Whereas this season, she just seemed more normal. She had hair. She, dressed in normal clothes.
That's what I said. It seemed to humanize her a little bit more too, because it showed her going through like puberty and the emotional conflicts she had, like when she saw Will talking to that Max, the red hair girl, and made her fall off the skateboard because she was getting jealous of her.
So when you say that you don't like 11 with hair, do you mean the hair that
Don't go
she? No. I'm. Come on. Are you saying that you don't like her with the hair that she had when we started this season, or when she went and met her quote unquote sister, and then got the makeover? Because those were two completely and totally different hairstyles. I didn't like the first hair. Like, okay, you want to talk to me about hairstyles? I'm the fucking guy to ask. Fucking bald guy. Okay. But the Raggedy Ann, like, haircut that she had in the first few episodes or whatever it was, I was just like, that looks kind of silly on her fucking head, you know? But then after she, like, did the whole slicking it back thing, I was like, okay, now she looks like a badass.
Yeah, but that's the bit that annoyed me. Neither of those images are really what we expected her to be. Like, she's neither a like. Do you remember in the end of the first season when she had the dress on, right? And they gave her a wig.
Yeah, yeah.
So that kind of we knew that that was a false persona, right? Whereas now
Mm.
they kind of made it her persona. And then when she became flipping the Matrix, the femme fatale Matrix girl,
Mm-hmm.
that again, I didn't feel that that was her. I always felt that she was portraying an image, you know what I mean, or a, something that someone else wanted to portray her as. And I think that's why she kind of annoyed me in this season. You know what I mean? I didn't really connect with her in this season.
Annoyed you.
Well, her whole arc. If you think of the story from her point of view, she's in the
Mm-hmm.
cabin, right? Her best friend is a TV. Basically, Hopper is telling her all these lies to keep her safe, effectively, right? No one knows
Mm-hmm.
she's there. She goes into her dark trance to uh, to meet Will, um, whenever she can, but she
You mean
can't have.
Mike?
Sorry, Mike, but
Mm-hmm.
no interaction with Mike. And then she goes from that to completely going off track, hitchhiking to her mother, going to Chicago or wherever it was,
Yeah.
uh, coming back. That story, unless they're setting that up to be season three, there wasn't really much into the story until she came back and killed one of the demi-dogs, and then basically closed the rip. Like, what was the whole point? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it was definitely focused around some of the other characters because her story was just basically her going through mood swings and then closing the gate.
No, her story was figuring some shit out about her
Well, yeah,
past
I
and
get
her
that.
family. And then finally she was just like, I'm being completely and totally selfish right now because I had no idea that my friends that found me and helped me out when I was escaping that place are in trouble.
But
So now I got to go fucking save them.
her storyline was effectively did two things. Well, three things, right? But the first thing was close off some story arcs from season one. Who was her
Mhm.
mother? Why is her mother in that vegetative state? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was what. So she closed off those arcs. Two, she opened up arcs for next season. I would imagine the girl she met, her sister, I can't remember her name, who's got the ability to
8.
eight.
We'll just
Yeah.
call her 8.
Yeah. That's obviously opening up maybe a story arc for next season where maybe there's 9 and 10, 11, 12. Who knows how many of them there are, right?
Yeah.
And that could be,
We had brought that up too.
but it did, and that felt a bit X-Men-y to me. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I've got the ability to move things. You've got the ability to put things in people's heads. Someone else might have the ability to turn off the lights without turning the switch. Who knows? It does.
Right.
It's an X-Men-y thing, right? But again, that seemed to set up season three. So she was opening up more stories, and then effectively in the last episode or last episode and a half, she effectively says, "Right, I'll come along and I'll save the day. I'll close the thing. Grand, it's great. These are all
Mhm.
brilliant." Whereas really, when you think about it, if Dustin hadn't done the bit that he decided to do, i.e., I think was it Dustin? Yeah, go down the whole distract the dogs, right? So
Mhm.
that was something that they saved the day. If the other crowd hadn't have done their bit, it was like a three-pronged attack, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so real quick about the fucking dogs. No, not about the dogs. Shit. What the fuck were you talking about before the dogs? Oh, the fucking okay. So, real quick, when when we first started watching Stranger Things, we knew that this character's name, well, I mean, we didn't know it at first, but we figured out that this character's name was 11. So, we knew that there would be others. And we knew at some point that they would probably show them in the show. So, I don't know why
But the
that's
first
like a
season,
surprise or
no, it's
anything.
not a surprise. But Stranger Things for me was last season. The way I took it up was she was 11.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, I was thinking that they had a reason why they were doing these experiments. And one of the reasons was she had the ability to find people. And we thought with Matthew Modine character that that's really, they focused on her. So I was
Yeah.
thinking, well, 1 to 10, they failed. Number 11, they succeeded, right?
Mm-hmm.
For them to turn around and think, oh, we had a whole Gansey load of kids, 1 to whatever, and they all had different special powers, it makes Stranger Things less unique. You know what I mean? Like it's an X-Men kind of thing, and that's the way they're gonna go. And I've no interest in that. If I wanted to look at X-Men, I would look at X-Men. For me,
Yeah.
Stranger Things was nostalgic look back in the 80s, a kind of friendship kind of group of kids along the lines of some of those 80s movies that I can't remember what they are now.
Like Stand By Me,
Exactly. Stand By Me, The Goonies, all those kind of things.
E.T.
Exactly. And that's unique. And then throw a bit of sci-fi in there in terms of the upside down world. Brilliant. That's not something that was ever used in that way before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the first season was brilliant. There was a rip in the connection between the now and the upside down. It was in the lab, blah blah blah. But now it seems that Mike came back from the upside down with a virus. He coughed up one of the demi-dogs. Where did the
Will.
other?
Will.
Well,
Get your characters right, fucker.
does anyone not think that they do look alike?
They do look alike.
Only that one is taller.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
Anyway,
the way that I'm able to tell them apart is Will is the one with the big eyes, and Mike is the one that kind of has like a pointy bird face.
yeah. So Will,
That's pretty much how I'm able to tell them apart.
here's a question for you guys. We know Will came back from the upside down, coughed up one of those little sluggy things that went
Mhm.
down the sink, and I assume made its way to Dustin's garbage, right? Where did the
Yeah.
other 20 dogs come from?
They came through the gate
Did they?
at the lab.
Yeah, they came through the gate of the
Mhm.
lab. Remember
Did they?
how they would go in there and do the controlled burns? And then the one day they came up in there, they closed the lab doors, and the dogs started like ramming themselves against the glass and broke through the glass while
And then they
everyone was
killed
fleeing
Bob.
out of the room. Yeah, and then they
No,
killed Bob.
no. Because one of the dogs
They
was
killed Bob.
hold on a second. One of the dogs was at the house.
Yeah, that was the one Dustin had.
No, because
No, that was the dogs from the lab coming to get them. Because Will was like a beacon, and if he
Yeah.
didn't know where he was, the creature couldn't find him. Which
know,
means
but
he couldn't
right.
tell the dogs where to go get him. And then when Will figured out where he was, that's when the dogs started to come.
from where?
From the lab.
They didn't come to the lab because the dogs hadn't gone through the lab at that point.
Look.
Are they?
Look. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway.
Yes.
I thought that the dogs were a byproduct of someone being infected with the virus.
Oh, no. It wasn't anything like that. The dogs came through the portal after they fucked up, and they broke through the glass. They figured out how to get to Will because he figured out where he was, and that was pretty much it. And then 11 came and twisted a doggy's neck and threw it through the window.
So you're telling me that all the other dogs didn't go through the whole growing up, molting period?
They came from the upside down. So yes, at some point they went through that, but they were already grown.
Doesn't seem plausible.
It doesn't seem plausible that the creatures that exist in the upside down came through the portal at the lab, escaped from the lab once they figured out where Will was to come get him.
No, that's all plausible.
Okay, well that's exactly what happened.
It's how they came into being. I'm questioning.
They were born and they grew up in the Upside Down.
I see. That's a bit.
They grew up in upper middle class families. They had very nice lives, and they just turned out shitty. They grew up on the wrong side of the tracks.
Yeah, they grew up on the wrong side of the Upside Down tracks. I don't understand. Like, do you want an origin story for these dogs that
I do.
so valiantly gave their lives for fucking their shadow?
He's like,
lord.
all right, it's time for a spinoff, guys.
Yeah. Growing up Demodogs.
Come on, Duffer Brothers, give us our fucking spinoff of these goddamn devil dogs, so we know where they came from.
Have you guys seen 2049 yet?
2049?
Blade Runner?
Blade Runner 2049. No, I have not seen it.
Nope.
I think the next movie that I see is going to be Thor. And the one after that is going to be Justice League.
Yep.
And we're going to be doing a review of Thor, aren't we?
We are.
When are you going to see it?
On the 3rd.
I went to see Blade Runner.
Oh, well, I don't know. I could probably go see it that Thursday.
I'm going to see it Thursday.
Yeah. Because I get paid on Tuesday.
I went to see Blade Runner last week.
Are we done?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I went to see Blade Runner last week, and I had the choice to go see that or Thor. And I remember seeing the trailer for Thor, and I went,
"Did Thor come out by you already?"
Yeah.
Motherfucker! I'm gonna go find a bootleg.
So
no.
I'm still gonna go see it at the theater.
So you're what?
So I watched the trailer. I saw the trailer for Thor, a couple of trailers, whatever, and I'm thinking this is going to be the biggest pile of complete rubbish in the history of the whole Marvel universe.
Will you watch it and then do the review with us?
Oh my god, yeah, please, because I've seen some of the reviews coming out and it's got tremendous reviews.
Yeah. I think it would be great to see.
It has a 93% positive rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
I think it would be really cool to see what your reaction is after you see the movie, knowing that you think it's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, not knowing, it's just that whoever did the trailer, it should have been neon piece of shit. It looks very.
Are you really going to judge an entire movie based on the trailer, though?
Isn't that the whole point of a fucking trailer?
Dude, fucking trailers will misdirect your ass in a fucking heartbeat. You see the fucking Last Jedi trailer?
Oh yeah.
Come on.
I need someone to teach me.
It doesn't say shit.
It just all depends on, like, was it a legit trailer or was it something you saw on TV? Because if it was like TV spot number 17 or some shit, then yeah, it was probably cut together like a piece of shit because those things have to be a certain runtime.
I don't think we get TV spots over here. So I looked at the official trailers.
Okay.
But look, for me, I will go see it. And I'll let you know how I felt. But from the trailer, it looked like it was very slapsticky. I mean, all it needed was some Benny Hill music, and it would have been perfect.
What's wrong with Benny Hill music?
It's not what you expect. It's not what you expect from that type of movie.
Somebody calls me, and I start running around in a circle comically.
No one needs to call you for that to happen.
Yeah, that's true. Toss a fucking nickel my way, and I'll do that for free. You pay me the nickel.
I'll go see it with an open mind, and I shall report back.
Well, go see it with an open mind, but make sure that your pants are zipped up. Okay, that's going to be it for the podcast. And on that note, we're going to end the podcast. Yes, we can, and yes, we will. All right, so I'm Tactical Bacon, Tacky Chan.
Faded Calico Jack.
Yeah, he's Faded Calico Jack, and
that's fucking Heisenberg.
And that's the Irish Madman.
There's no way I'm putting my name to this.
It's already on there, bro. It's already on there.
It is already on there.
All right, stop recording.
Like herpes.